So probably just to set the scene a bit, third-party functionality, who is it for? So essentially our third-party functionality is for any company that manages stock on behalf of others. So the simple representation I have here is we have a company that is a trader. They don't want to handle stock. They're on the phones day in, day out to customers buying and selling stock. But they don't have their own warehouse, they don't have their own production facility, and they don't have time to lose on that particular area, so they would rather outsource all the handling capabilities. It could be, by the way, that they hold some of their stock and they only outsource some of the handling, but in this simple representation I've showed it as complete. So the trader in this case is taking the orders, they know what needs to be done, but they're not going to handle the inventory. So they just get on the phone to a service provider, and the service provider then agrees a price with them for how they're going to do it, and they then handle everything relating to bringing the goods into stock, processing the goods, and fulfilling sales orders to the customers of the trader. So in this case, for instance, the service provider might have a handling charge for any goods they receive when they arrive from suppliers. They might have production charges for anything they do in production. So they might charge £2 a box for everything they pack. And then they will have some outbound charges. So maybe they take care of haulage for the trader and then invoice the trader for the haulage at the end of the day or at the end of the week. So anytime a service provider has some costs that they might want to capture relating to the handling for their internal use, and they have revenue that they want to charge across to the trader, then this functionality allows you to track all of that. So it can be used, first of all, in the simplistic form for external customers, so where the trader is external and therefore the service provider is handling this with no link to any other system, so just sort of manual links. Or it can also be handled with internal customers. So that's a situation where you have an enterprise. One of the enterprises is perhaps a fruit trading division and doesn't handle the stock itself, and another enterprise is doing the packing and the handling of the produce. So in this particular situation where you have internal customers, this is what we call the trader service provider model. These both entities would be present in the AX instance, and all the integration that is required here is taken care of seamlessly within the system. So there's no parallel entry of data. You only have to enter the data in one place, and it's instantly, or actually batch jobs in places, synchronized across to the other entity. One of the key things to note of this compared to any other solutions on the market is there's no loss of functionality in either entity. So in this case, as a service provider, I still want to use haulage. I still want to use the mobile devices, same mobile devices I would normally use. I don't want people to have to log in and log out of different systems. Essentially, I want to be able to handle the third-party produce in exactly the same way that I would handle any other of my own produce, and that is completely capable within the third-party functionality that we have and the trader service provider functionality that we have. So we think that's pretty unique. The other unique feature here is it has complete control of the financials in each entity. So over here in the service provider, there's some internal costs for arranging the haulage, so the amount you're going to pay to the haulier, but then there's the revenue you're going to charge to the trader for it. We are able to capture the costs and the revenue of both elements, so that when you look at the profitability in this business, you're seeing the profitability of your service activities rather than profitability of stock. Whereas over in the trader side, you're getting charges which are essentially the revenue from the service provider. Those are coming through as costs to the trader. And so what you see in the trader side is the complete control of the financials relating to their sales activities over here. So you've got segregation of duties of who is taking care of what. You can each manage your P&L separately. So the P&L of the trader is all about the produce. The P&L of the service provider is all about the services. So you've got complete control and visibility, and you can segregate the data and prevent people from seeing things they shouldn't see. So a lot of key features. Probably the very final thing I'd like to say on this is, obviously as a company we're very focused on fresh produce, and this functionality does relate very heavily to customers we've had that have shared packing facilities, packing fruit and veg on behalf of others. But it's also worth noting that this functionality is applicable across industry. There's nothing at all that prevents you from using the same functionality across other industries. So important feature to note when you're thinking of perhaps businesses that are not solely on fresh produce. So this is an interesting area for us where we've extended the AX functionality into an area where we think we've had real insight into the industry requirements.